they are fixing the elections in Texas. But that does not mean that California should fix the elections because of that. Two wrongs don't make a right.
You don't buy what Governor Newsom's saying?
Of course not. Look, I've sat there in Sacramento. I've listened to the politicians for 7 years. They are not interested in giving any power to the people. The only interest that they have is to take power away from the people and grab it themselves. So this gives them a great opportunity by saying, oh, we have to fight Trump. Let's go and get rid of...
Arnold Schwarzenegger just dropped a political shock straight onto Gavin Newsom's plate. And honestly, California hasn't been this amused since the last blackout. The Terminator seems done flexing muscles and has started flexing opinions instead. And here's the catch. Newsom probably wishes Judgment Day stayed on the big screen. Strap in, because when a former governor calls someone out, it's not a discussion. It's a blockbuster roast packed with ego.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
Before we go any further, hit that like button and subscribe, because skipping this would be criminal. California might need a brand new theme song after this mess, because Arnold Schwarzenegger just remixed the political soundtrack. The guy who once battled killer robots is now battling paperwork and red tape, and somehow Gavin Newsom became the final boss. Things get strange when the Terminator looks at California and says, "I'll be back," but only once the taxes relax.
You know, it's like there's some challenges all over the world. Los Angeles has its challenges, and I hope they solve the challenges very quickly, and that the federal government and the state and the locals all can work together in solving those problems.
I'm sure you're glad you don't have to be a decision maker anymore, or do you wish you were?
I would be more than happy to make those decisions.
It's almost poetic. A movie action star turned governor turned global environmental crusader, calling out the man whose hair looks like it's running its own campaign. You could practically smell the ego floating around. A strange...
What's your view in terms of what should happen nationwide when it comes to redistricting?
Well, first of all, in California, it's a big mistake to go and to dismantle and to basically kind of get rid of the independent redistricting commission under the auspices of we got to have more power than the Republicans, and we got to fight Trump.
Arnold Schwarzenegger suddenly launched a political shock right at Gavin Newsom's direction, and believe me, California hasn't felt this amused since another blackout hit. The former Terminator seems done flexing biceps and now flexes opinions instead. Here's the point. Newsom likely wishes Judgment Day stayed fictional. Hold tight, because when a governor targets someone, it isn't discussion. It becomes a movie style now.
I got much further when I was governor by working together with the Democrats, by letting them know they're not the enemy, that I am a strong believer that if we want to go and make California successful or America successful, we can do this the best possible way by having Democrats and Republicans work together.
Because Gavin Newsom isn't just a politician anymore. He's a full-time brand. His hair looks more organized than the state's finances. His speeches sound like TED Talks written by a PR team paid in almond milk. And yet Arnold is the one bringing the fire, pointing out disorder in the same state he once ran, like a gym trainer with executive authority.
It is about the United States of America. He doesn't believe in that. He believes in the red states. He's going after, it's a war. He's a wartime president. He's the head of a war party. War on women, war on voting rights, war on Hispanics, a war on this state, war on institutions, war on history. I mean, this is serious. This guy's trying to get a Nobel Peace Prize. That's what he's going to try to say tomorrow in Alaska, that he's the big guy trying to find peace, really? When he's bringing war to the American people?
The funniest part is Arnold probably didn't even mean to shake the ground. He likely tossed out a casual remark about leadership problems, and suddenly Sacramento was trembling like a major quake. The man coughs, and analysts start studying it like holy text. You could sense the eye rolling across the ocean. The governor, who spends half his time insisting everything's fine, suddenly found himself roasted by the only man who can turn climate talk into a movie pitch. It gets uncomfortable when even Hollywood insiders ask, wait, whose side are we on? One sells strength, the other sells calm, and both think they're saving California. The timing couldn't be better.
To fight for democracy and to get rid of your democratic principles. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing against Newsom. We don't have a fight over this at all.
Yeah, because you guys met. What was that like when you guys met together?
It was a wonderful meeting. He told me what he felt. I told him, I said, I totally get it, because this is what you need to do to be the leader of the party. I totally get it, but I'm not a party person, I said. I'm a people's person. I always will fight for the power of the people.
Newsom has been strutting as the golden face of progressive politics, eyeing national attention. And then, boom, Arnold swings a verbal dumbbell straight at him. It's like California's karma put on sunglasses and a leather jacket. Arnold's message was basically, sure, things were messy when I ran the place, but at least rent was possible. Newsom is probably wishing for an invisibility cloak right now, maybe one made from recycled scandals. Naturally, the internet exploded. X, split in half. One side praised Arnold's boldness, the other defended Newsom like he's the last avocado tree in the state. Memes spread faster than rent hikes. Somewhere, Elon Musk was likely dropping popcorn emojis. Both visions feel cinematic. One is an action film, the other a documentary claiming everything's fine while the lights flicker.
Lastly, Brad, what's Arnie the Terminator up to in California?
So he's upset now about gerrymandering in California and in Texas. There's basically this big back and forth that's going on where in Texas, Republicans are planning on doing mid-decade gerrymandering, which is redrawing the legislative districts to give yourself more seats in Congress by kind of choosing your voters. This is something Democrats have historically been against and wanted to ban, but now they're saying they will do it too in response. So
Arnold's criticism wasn't only political, it felt personal. You could see he still cares about the state. It's like watching someone pass their old house and see it falling apart with new owners inside. He tried to stay quiet, but there's only so much chaos you can ignore before your inner Terminator wakes up. Newsom, of course, acted unbothered, smiling and talking about innovation like a true Californian. But inside, you know it burned. Getting called out by Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't easy to shrug off. It's like being roasted by a legend who once held your job and somehow made it look enjoyable. Arnold isn't subtle. He doesn't whisper criticism. He drops it like heavy iron. His diplomacy involves strength metaphors and maybe a casual line about crushing opponents. One's built like a tank, the other like a luxury electric car. Guess which one people feel stuck with when the power goes out.
Arnold is out here criticizing Trump and Gavin Newsom for doing it. I'm not sure he'll be able to actually do anything about it. It's kind of baked into our political system, but things are fine. Things are going amazing here. We're just kind of in a perpetual race to the bottom of who can take the shadiest step next to kind of rig the political system in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, do we expect anything else from the pin-up boy for stupidity, Newsom? No.
But here's the reality. When Arnold calls out Newsom, he's also calling out himself because he helped create this circus. He's basically the founding father of celebrity politics in California. Without him, Newsom might still be practicing speeches in a mirror. It's a full circle moment. The mentor becomes the critic, the original performer correcting the sequel. The irony is thicker than a protein shake. A state that turned governing into entertainment is now watching its past and present fight for attention. It's like an Expendables version of Sacramento. What better way to grab the spotlight again than taking a swing at the current king of California cool? Meanwhile, Newsom is probably pacing in front of a mirror rehearsing replies. But how do you clap back at a man who is already a meme? You can't outshine Arnold. You can't outfame him. You can only hope the next disaster distracts everyone before approval numbers melt like ice cream in LA heat.
Even Arnold Schwarzenegger is against what Gavin Newsom is doing in California. And that should tell you something. Here's what's going on in California if you don't know. Gavin Newsom is pushing a plan that would weaken the state's independent redistricting commission. The commission was created to make sure that election maps are fair. No political party rigging the lines. But Newsom's proposal could give more control back to the politicians. And that's where Arnold comes in. Remember, Schwarzenegger is a Republican, but he's not necessarily a Trump guy. Yet even Arnold Schwarzenegger says this move by Newsom is wrong.
Arnold's criticism landed because it came from experience. He knows how difficult running California can be, but he also knows when things are being overcomplicated. His silent message was simple. Stop treating the state like a philosophy project. Sometimes you just fix the roads. It's a harshly simple idea. People don't want fancy speeches about green energy while their cars disappear into potholes. They want leaders who actually lead, not ones who photograph well. That's where Arnold's jab hurts most. He's not only mocking policy, he's mocking the look of modern politics, where leaders resemble models and motivational speakers but can't keep the lights on. That's the magic formula. Honesty mixed with absurdity. You can imagine him saying, "When I was governor, we lifted California up literally." And you'd believe it, because even his exaggerations feel more real than half of today's promises.
Now, this movie star and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger is preparing to battle Governor Newsom over Newsom's redistricting efforts. Ashley, explain to us how Schwarzenegger is planning to fight against Newsom.
He's back. The former governor of California, he's back. He has a beef with the current governor, and he says democracy is at stake. Schwarzenegger is angry with Newsom for planning to redistrict California, who are doing that in response to the same effort.
The media loved it, obviously. Headlines everywhere, commentators breaking it down like a title fight. One side called Arnold fearless, the other said he's outdated. Meanwhile, the rest of the country watched in confusion, wondering why California keeps turning politics into a streaming series. Arnold also exposed something deeper, the state's identity crisis. California wants to lead morally, save the climate, dominate tech, but can't figure out gas prices. Arnold said what many were thinking, maybe stop saving the world and fix the state first. That blend of honesty and performance makes him unpredictable. Is he campaigning or just trolling? Hard to say. Charts don't beat a good one-liner from the Terminator. Facts fade, charisma lasts. In that arena, Arnold still wins. The tension reflects a bigger issue, image versus substance. California has mastered looking successful while slowly breaking. Arnold just had the nerve to say it loudly and stylishly enough to go viral.
But, Christian, you're in California. I have a lot of people here in Australia talking to me about Gavin Newsom, asking what I think about him. And I feel like this is one of those moments that's very revealing about the guy's character. I mean, if he's going to be so petty about this, is everything just going to be this political fight, turning everybody into either friends or enemies?
Yeah, it's a bad look for sure. And it's something he shouldn't really be engaging with. He should just honor the ex-governor, who's obviously a huge movie star and a pop culture icon, and just leave it there. I mean, I think that's magnanimous. I think it's what people want to see.
Somewhere in the chaos, you can almost hear Californians sighing in agreement. They're tired of polished failure. Arnold became their unfiltered voice, saying what no PR team allows. But don't be fooled. This isn't random venting. It's calculated. Every word feeds the Arnold legacy. He's reminding people that while the new generation tweets about progress, the old one actually did things, even if those things included tough cuts and questionable movie roles. Still, it's hard not to laugh. Two wealthy, camera-ready men arguing over who loves California more. It's like a beauty contest for politicians who won't age quietly. One has the tan and smile, the other has the muscles and memories. The more you think about it, the funnier it gets. A man famous for pretending to save the world, now scolding another for pretending to save the state. Hypocrisy in high definition, and somehow it works.
And when Arnold speaks, people listen. He literally said that trying to mess with this commission is dangerous for democracy. By the way, we don't live in a democracy, we live in a constitutional republic. Think about that for a second. It's not just Republicans that are criticizing this. Arnold has worked across party lines before. So if even he is against it, you know it's got to be a big deal. At the end of the day, fair maps mean fair elections. And nobody should be afraid of fairness, but I think Gavin Newsom is. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger is calling out Gavin Newsom's plan. Because once you let politicians draw their own lines, the people lose. I agree with Arnold and I disagree with Gavin Newsom. What do you think?
Arnold may not be running for office, but he's running circles around modern politicians when it comes to authenticity. He doesn't need slogans or advisors. He is the slogan. When he calls out Newsom, the contrast feels cinematic. Newsom talks progress. Arnold talks action. Newsom tweets. Arnold lifts. Newsom forms committees. Arnold builds gyms. One is polished, the other raw. And raw usually wins hearts faster. The moment will fade like all news cycles, but the image will stay. The former governor smirking while the current one struggles to stay calm. It's political theater at its finest. Unplanned, ridiculous, yet believable. Every California leader eventually faces the Terminator's judgment, a symbolic passing of the torch, except the torch is on fire and held by someone who refuses to age. Maybe that's the lesson. Politics is entertainment, and entertainment is politics. Arnold just keeps blurring the line he helped draw. Newsom is the sequel, but the original still has fans.
Schwarzenegger is calling out President Trump as well, saying that gerrymandering is evil, and he used the word evil no matter who does it. It's unclear how hard Schwarzenegger will fight Newsom or what form that opposition could take. A recent picture, though, posted to Instagram showed the former governor wearing a T-shirt that read, "F the politicians, terminate gerrymandering." So we know where he stands.
So as headlines disappear and the next scandal rolls in, one fact remains. When Arnold talks, people pay attention. Not because he's always right, but because he's entertaining. And in California, that can matter more than competence. Somewhere, a political strategist is crying into a green smoothie, realizing charisma beats data. Newsom will smile and act like nothing happened, but the internet remembers everything. That clip of Arnold calling him out will live forever online, a digital monument to California's non-stop drama. Because in California politics, the explosions aren't special effects anymore. They're real, loud, and sometimes wearing sunglasses. And that's how Arnold Schwarzenegger once again became the most talked about man in the state, without lifting weights, just raising eyebrows.